Alright, I got a little demo here to show you how to make the last part in the section view series. It is a revolved / removed section view because we are doing the cut right there on a special feature, an I-beam shape, and we are removing it to the side and revolving it so it can easily be seen. The main thing when I look at this drawing is that I want to take care of the main features first. The big cylinder, little cylinder, and then the I-beam shape that connects the two. I'm not going to worry about the little dimples or bumps or the cutouts or notches until the end, because if I do them out of order, I may actually fill them back in and have to try to figure out how to recut them later. So with that being said, I'll take a look at a few numbers here, slide this out of the way, and then let's get started. So I got a metric part file started. Let's start a sketch. Let's make the little cylinder first, and that is a, what do we got here, 32, enter. And then I'm going to go over to the side here and make the big cylinder next that has a 70 diameter. And then I'm going to measure the distance between the two. Want that to be 90. And just because I know if I grab the center point, you can see it's actually not locked down. So I'm going to throw a construction line between the two centers so that I can put a horizontal constraint to make sure they stay in line with one another. The next thing we also need is a tangent line so that we can later on figure out where those I-beam shapes need to be drawn. Then I'll just trim off what I don't need, and we are pretty much all set now to get this started. So finish that sketch. Let's extrude the little cylinder first, set it to symmetric extrusion, and that one is 38 tall. Go into my browser, right click on that sketch, turn the visibility back on, and let's extrude the big cylinder, still set to symmetric, and this one is 50 tall. Alright, so we got the two cylinders. They are even by their center point, center plane, if you want to say that. And I have a tangent line between them. So the next step is I need work planes where I'm going to draw that I-beam shape on each end. The smallest it is in the little cylinder, and the biggest it will be on the big cylinder. But in order to do that, I need to go to my origin and find a work plane that's parallel to what I want, and it's this one. So I turn on the visibility, I right clicked and did visibility. What's a little bit tricky is that this work plane is very close to the tangent point, but not right on top of it. So if I go up to the plane tool and go parallel through a point, I can now click on the reference plane from the origin and move my cursor slowly along until I find that tangent point and click. I'm going to repeat on the other end as well. So either of these will work as a reference now. And I go across till I find that tangent point and click. Now I can turn off the visibility of the origin work plane. So I'm just left with the two planes where my I-beam will start and stop. So in no particular order, I'm going to start a sketch on the little cylinder first here, this work plane. F7 to slice. Project my cut edges. And what we have to be careful of is if I rotate this a little bit, is that it's really easy to snap geometry to the outside edge of the widest point of the cylinder, but we want to work with just the tangent point, and that's where we're slicing. So with that being said, I'm going to just start by drawing some rectangles then. The I-beam has a rectangle top, has a rectangle bottom, and a rectangle that connects the two. If I look over on my technical sketch, I can see that the I-beam is 5 tall up there, or 5 thick up there, 5 thick on the bottom, and 4 thick in the middle. And then I also need to make sure it's being centered in the middle. So I'll pull a 2 dimension off of that center point. There we go. Once I have that all drawn, oh, not quite done yet. We need to locate the I-beam. So if I look at the drawing on the small cylinder, bring this back over quick. You can see that the I-beam is 9 down from the top and 3 up from the bottom. So I'll put those dimensions in next. 9 down from the top and 3 up from the bottom. Go ahead and finish sketch. Well, you know what? We're going to do one more thing. We're going to trim, because I've known I've had problems with this before. We're going to now use the trim tool and kind of clean up the I-beam. Now the only problem is it does delete our 5 dimensions, so I'm going to put that back in really quick. 5 there and there, and check. And then from there we will do a collinear constraint to lock down these 2 sides, there to there. And finish the sketch. Alright, now that we have the sketch done in the little cylinder, we need to put an I-beam sketch in the big cylinder. So I'm going to go to the work plane, that tangent work plane, click on it, start a new sketch, F7 to slice, project my cut edges, and start out with the rectangle shapes again. So I got to cross the top, cross the bottom, in the middle, and I know that they are, the tops are 5 thick. Enter, the bottom is 5 thick, the center is 4 thick. And here's a scenario: if the center I-beam area is not in the middle of your part, you can always drag it back so it is in the center area, and then you can dimension from the side to the center to be 2. If for some reason you don't see that center point in your work area, you can also dimension off of the midpoint at the top and then the side of your part and get a 2 dimension that way also. The other dimensions we need here are from top. It is 6 down from the top and it is 6 up from the bottom. And I've learned that we just want to maybe trim out the I-beam once it's all built, even if that means having to put these dimensions back in, because it'll just make selection of the loft a little easier later on. And I'll do collinear to make sure that this segment and that segment stay connected, and this one also stay connected. Alright, that completes the I-beam shape there. Finish sketch. Now we are ready to loft. We're going to go find that loft tool. In the window it says click, we're going to click where it says click to add for sections. We're going to hover nice and slow till the sketch highlights. Click, and then a second click to shade the I-beam shape. So see, if I go off nothing shaded, second click to shade the I-beam shape. Then we go back to the loft window, click to add another section. And I'm going to hover slowly on the big cylinder until I highlight that sketch, and then I click again to shade that I-beam shape. Now I wish there was a preview, because at this point we have 2 selected sections, but if you have 2 selections that are selecting like mine, it's a lot of selections. Just trust it and click OK to see what happens, and hopefully you will get the lofted I-beam shape from one end to another. Just like so. And then you can turn off the visibility of these work planes. You can turn off the visibility of that first sketch. And you are now ready to continue on adding your other features to this part. Good luck.